Hi, this is Paul Lancaster from the Sage One team at Sage, and today I'm joined by Naomi Timperley and Andy Jackson from 4Hub UK.
Hi.
Hi there, how's it going?
Good, thank you.
Are you in sunny Manchester today?
We are. The sun's not out today. It was out yesterday though. We've had a couple of rare sunny days over the
Good.
last week or so.
Well, it's pretty drizzly wet here in Newcastle, but so thanks for joining me today. I've, we've been following each other for quite a while on Twitter, but this is actually the
Yeah.
first time we've actually met in person, or as close to it in person as you can get. So
Yeah.
really appreciate you joining, doing this, Naomi. Do you just want to
Yeah.
start by telling us a little bit about you and your background and what it is that you're doing today?
Um, yeah. I am, as you know, Naomi. I'm a 42-year-old mum of two girls. My background before what I'm doing now was travel and recruitment, and then I became a stay-at-home mum for 4 years. And then one day randomly came across an American website called Baby Loves Disco, which was in 27 cities across America. It was essentially an afternoon dance party for parents and kids, held in trial-proof nightclubs with great DJs. I love what it was all about, and it was in the afternoon, it was at the weekend, so dads could come along as well. So I emailed them out of the blue and said that I wanted to bring it to Manchester. That was in January 2007. In September 2007, we launched in London and Manchester. One thing that was quite apparent from the start is that we had a very limited budget for marketing, so I used sort of grassroots marketing approaches and also invested a small amount of money in PR. And we had two amazing women, two American women actually, who lived on the same street in Southfields. One of them was called Sandra, who used to be a marketing manager for Universal Music. The other lady, Bridget, was in a platinum-selling punk band in the States called NY Loose and come to the UK to write music. She toured with the Ramones and Marilyn Manson, but they had two little black books that had the most amazing contacts. And before we even launched the business, we had a 2-page spread in the Saturday Times Knowledge Supplement. And it just snowballed from there. So within 2 years, we were in 9 cities across the UK. Again, purely by the mummy word of mouth. I never went out and recruited people. And we did loads of cool things, like we had a TV advertised album with Universal, worldwide press, sold out events at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. We did events at the Royal Festival Hall, and I had an amazing time. In 2008, I was hounded by the BBC to do Dragon's Den, which I ended up doing with my American business partner. We were in the den for an hour and 45 minutes, and it was eventually offered £100,000 by the lovely Deborah Meaden, which we respectfully declined. And that sort of led me to where I am now, because I started getting involved with women's enterprise, youth enterprise, and absolutely loved it. I've been a judge and a dragon for Young Enterprise Northwest. I was a business advisor for Salford University SIFE program and started doing speaking, which I was a natural at. I'm a big storyteller, and it sort of came quite naturally to me, so it's quite good because I even get paid for doing it now. And with the youth enterprise stuff, it was glaringly obvious that there was a gap in the market for disruptive enterprise education. And I met 2 guys on Twitter, a guy called Kitan Makwana and a wonderful guy called Sabi Mohammed, who was much younger than us, who still inspires me today. And we set up Enterprise Lab in November 2011 to bridge the gap between education, employment and enterprise. I sold my shares in Baby Loves Disco to our Scottish host mum. I fell out of love with it, really, but it was a great learning curve. I did it for 4 years and loved it. And in 2012, Enterprise Lab hosted Youth Enterprise Live at Earls Court, which was a great success. We've worked with loads of different organisations, universities, schools, colleges, nationally and internationally. And I have also set up a very small social media consultancy, which I started in 2011, which works with small companies, big companies, because everyone asked me how I did so well on Twitter. I met my business partners on Twitter. I get work out of Twitter. So I thought I might as well start charging for it. And that's something that I love doing. And I also met the lovely Andy about 2 years ago when he was working for Onside, which I'll let him tell you about in a minute. And we have just created 4Hub, which is fantastic. And I'm going to let Andy tell you about that now.
Great. Okay, Andy, yeah. Hi.
Yeah, my background's not quite as grand as that.
It is, trust me, he's being very humble.
I grew up in a place called Wythenshawe, South Manchester. Most people have heard of it. It's Manchester Airport's in Wythenshawe. And I literally did the traditional thing that lads from my area did, went and got an apprenticeship in motor vehicle maintenance. Soon fell out of love with that and started a retail career, and alongside that taught water sports. So I got to the point where, you know, the shops were doing really well, but I was bored out of my head and really enjoyed working with young people on the water. But it's very seasonal, so every summer I'd be out on boats, on yachts and power boats and things, teaching young people. Every winter I'd end up in a shop somewhere. So I ended up staying in retail for a while and really got hung up on customer experience, or what's now called customer experience and employee engagement. So creating places people love working, but also treating your customers right. And missed working with young people, so asked to volunteer. Literally, I wrote to every local authority in Greater Manchester about youth work, and only one came back to volunteer in Parsington in Trafford, and I was just really upset that, well, how can I put it nicely? They didn't treat young people the way I would like them to be treated as users of the centre. So I created a model that brought in private sector, things like customer experience, but into the youth work and community development sector. The local authority weren't keen for me to continue, so I did a very petulant, you know, back me or sack me type thing, and let's just say we agreed that I'd leave. So I set up a charity in 2004 called Dream Taxi, which was around, literally, it was a kind of blend of psychology and business adapted into that sector, which resulted in me meeting Bev Hughes, who was the children's minister then. I got a really nice letter saying this model should be replicated nationally. And we got to the point where it was me-centric, and I didn't know how to build a board of trustees who could take it forward. So when they were offered a centre, they took that on, and I was approached by Onside Northwest to go and work with them and build 5 youth zones, which are these big. The My Place scheme was a government initiative administered by Big Lottery, and it gave up to £5 million for communities to build a 21st century youth centre, for want of a better phrase. So I worked with those guys for 3 years to build them, and my role was around all the youth engagement, building local partnerships, really convincing local people and local providers that it was an asset, not a threat, because it was kind of seen as the Tesco's of the social world, to say you're going to steal all the volunteers, all the money, all the young people. And my idea was always it's collaboration, not competition, that it added value to, not replaced anything. And I got to the point then again where it's like I didn't want to just be a centre manager. I was really keen to have something wider than that. And been speaking to Naomi for a while, and together we came up with what became 4Hub as an idea. And I made the jump last October. We incorporated the company in May last year. We made the jump in October. And 4Hub, really, the short version is about, we're really passionate about helping businesses create, and not just private sector, but business organisations in generally, creating places people love working, but then helping private sector realise there is a purpose beyond the profit. And we're really, really keen to have, if people love where they work, they become really strong brand ambassadors and treat the customers really well, and everything grows because it aligns personal success with business success. Does that make sense?
Yeah, fantastic.
And then what we're focusing on at the moment is we're building one of our first projects together called My Big Social Idea. kind of things Naomi and I have both done in the past where we've had a really strong idea and we've had to do it ourselves. There's not really help out there to, you've got, there's a problem and you think you've got a solution, but you're not sure. So there's a kind of a movement from taking your idea to action. And we're creating a project around that helps passionate people really solve social problems themselves. And we're going to put the structure around that so they can make it happen.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, two amazing individuals there. I mean, I had an inkling of some of what you guys had done before, but I didn't realise all of that. So
that's not the half of it. We haven't seen it.
But do you know what? Like, you're obviously not typical.
No,
people,
not at all.
But I have met a lot of entrepreneurs over the years through the work I do now, and when I was at Shell Livewire as well. And entrepreneurs, they do have quite a not a checkered history, but they have done lots of different things over the years, and they do. A few themes that I was writing down there when you were speaking were about boredom. Kind of the excitement of starting something up and developing it and growing it, and then eventually you might get tired of that, or you might see something else that excites you, and you can see a problem there that you think you can solve, so you want to move into that. So how much do you agree with that idea of yourselves being kind of always looking for something new, or always spotting opportunities and feeling like you can add value to that? And kind of when do you know that your time's up doing one certain thing and it's time to move on?
I think the thing for me is I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they get really focused on one thing, and if you chunk up a couple of levels, so if they're talking about, let's say, for me it was always young people in communities, but it'd be just around getting this community more mobile. But if you go up a couple of levels, I think you can stay focused for a long time. So for me, young people have a path into employment or enterprise is massive. I couldn't have solved that. I wouldn't get bored of that. It's the project bit, the day-to-days, and I think it's having a transition plan to say, look, someone asked me the other week about what's the best thing you ever did for your business, and I said employ a manager, because I think it's the difference between the entrepreneur can stay involved as long as there's somebody. It's about preserving what you do really well and growing at the same time, or growing personally or whatever, not just the business growing, but you need someone to do the day-to-day stuff. And as for me, the way I look at it is when I quit water sports, it was one day I woke up and thought, I've got to go sailing today, and the day before I loved it, and then there's one day it's like, as soon as you feel in any way less passionate about it, you need to give someone else the reins, for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
No, I would agree with that. One of the reasons that I walked away from Baby Loves Disco is because I hadn't fallen out of love with the product. It was also issues with my American business partner, the lack of support, and working 24/7 and not getting very much out of it. But to me, it was the first thing that I'd ever I'd always had jobs before. It was the first thing that I sort of done on my own, as a business. So for me, it was a massive learning curve, and I don't regret 1 minute of it. I loved everything that I did, and it's if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah, well, yeah, everything leads on. Everything sort of plays a part, doesn't it?
Definitely.
If anyone's watching this and they kind of think they've just got an idea that they haven't even started their own business, they're pre-start, or they're in a job at the minute and they're dreaming about being self-employed, maybe listening to you guys and other like really famous entrepreneurs like Richard Branson always gets cited all the time, it can seem quite far away from where they are right now, but it is possible, isn't it? Like if you have an idea and you are really passionate and you are really determined, you can make things happen just from your own volition. And you both yourselves talked about, you gave various examples there of where you made something happen by writing a letter or picking up the phone or just getting out there on social media. There is really nothing stopping you from making a start, is there?
I suppose social media, and this is proof in the pudding, what we're doing now, social media has made the world a very small place. You can now at your fingertips speak to anybody, and I've got people that I've met via social media that I could almost call on as mentors, and ask advice, and it's amazing. But yeah, going back to ideas, I think one of the things that we do is with my big social idea is actually help people ideate what they are passionate about, and actually what is the problem that they're solving. Is there a need for it? And almost bouncing ideas off, because I work with loads of startups over the last couple of years. I also do business mentoring for the Business Growth Hub in Greater Manchester, MMU, Salford University, and UCLan. And it's interesting just to see how people grow and learn. And for another thing that's always been very important to me has been the network that I've created. That's always been very useful.
Yeah, I mean the network, that is one of the most powerful things people can start and grow, isn't it? Your own personal network, which can help you in your business life, but in your personal life as well.
I'm sure you have a very large network, Paul.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
yeah.
It's which obviously helps, pulling things together like this, and definitely Twitter. I mean, I could actually give up some of the other social media tools, but Twitter is the one that I think is the most useful and valuable tool for me personally in terms of keeping me interested and informed. Yeah, and also making things happen. I love it. Absolutely love it.
You just meet new people all the time, don't you?
Sorry? Say that again?
I was saying you meet new people all the time, and it's just interesting just to see how other people, in work-wise and personal-wise, how they live their lives and what's important to them.
Yeah. I find it incredibly inspiring, and I think as well, just the nature of it, it does encourage people to be, as the name implies, more social and more collaborative, and it's all about sharing and helping each other, and fantastic. So
that's one thing that I did with with Baby Loves Disco actually, is every time we went to a new city, we would collaborate with other kids-related businesses, family-related businesses, and that's one thing that I've carried on with everything that I've done, and that's something that Andy and I are really keen to do is to collaborate with other organisations and individuals to make my big social idea as successful as it can be, because we think it's a really important thing.
Yeah. So, Andy, well, you're both from roughly the same area. Are you both from?
Well, I'm actually from down south, but this is my adoptive home now.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But did you meet? How did you meet? Did you say it was through social media?
We met on Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Fantastic. Yeah. Another great example. What's Manchester like for startups? What's the scene like? Is it really good?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Do you know what? It's everybody's very giving and helpful. There's loads of support out there for startups. What do you think? I think it's amazing. I love it.
I think it's amazing. I think it's fantastic. I think it's one of those things, everyone loves it, and I think there's a few people on the bandwagon that need to collaborate, but if you want to start a business, Manchester's not a difficult place to do it. There's money, there's mentors, there's coaches, there's communities, Manchester's really geared up for startups and growing micro businesses into SMEs and things, so it's a good place to do it.
And it's also, really apparent for us. It's almost like we live in a little bubble because we've got so many amazing people that we can tap into. In Greater Manchester, I don't know whether he owns from Brother. So, do you follow him, Paul?
What was that again? Sorry, I missed his name.
I think you've lost us then.
Oh, back again.
Yeah, just saying, just people like Phil Jones from Brother, who's just amazing. Yeah, can you hear us now?
I can. Yeah, I can hear you. Phil Jones.
Hello?
I think I'm following him, but hello, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
If you're not following him, you should. Yeah, Phil's amazing, and he's just Phil Jones 40. It is.
Great.
He's the UK director of Brother.
Phil Jones 40, right? Right. If I'm not following him already, I will be.
Yeah. There's loads of fantastic people in Manchester, and I think I'm telling you, if you want to start a business, come to Manchester. That's not to say that there isn't lovely places like Newcastle as well, because I'm a huge fan of Newcastle and Gateshead.
Yeah. Well, I think it's true. It's like you could probably say the same about or most of the major cities in the UK now. That a lot of people are working very hard to support startups and make them a good place to start a business. There's support everywhere, isn't there? Does it annoy you that how much attention London gets in the national media?
Do you know
as opposed
what?
to Manchester, or do you think it's fair enough?
No, I think Manchester's getting a lot of attention at the moment, and quite rightly so.
Yeah.
I think London is not just all the be all and end all. We've got so many things going on up here. It's amazing. It's an amazing 3 towns now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we got you two, obviously, and all the work you're doing. I mean, Manchester's got a lot going for it, obviously, hasn't it? Because it's steeped in history, integral to the Industrial Revolution. It's got great heritage and culture. It's a cool city. It's got loads going for it. Like a lot of people want to either live there or visit there. But what about? So in a way, it should be a good place to start a business, shouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think the next revolution in Manchester is the tech and startup revolution. Definitely. There's so much going on here.
Yeah, I know Martin Bryant from The Next Web, the editor of The Next Web, and the guys who run Tech Hub Manchester.
Tech Hub, I know them. Yeah, they're all.
I think it was like two years ago, maybe a bit longer. Martin gave a talk at TEDx, I think, where he said that although Manchester was amazing and had everything going for it, in his opinion, the tech startup scene wasn't as highly evolved as it could be or should be, and I think it has moved on a lot since then because through the efforts of people like himself and the guys at Tech Hub. But I think at the time it was seen that Manchester had a lot of agencies, a lot of digital agencies. So there was lots of work if you wanted to be a digital agency, but maybe tech startups, like true tech startups, there wasn't so many. But I think that has obviously changed since then.
Yeah, I think that's
what do you think?
There's a massive, like I say, there's a big digital community, definitely, and there's loads of support as well because to support students that go to Manchester University, MMU and Salford to actually stay in the city. There's lots of support there as well. You've got things like Sharp Futures, from you've obviously got the Sharp project. We've obviously got Media City now. There's loads of stuff going on there, and that we actually want to keep talent in Manchester. There's a lot there for the young people to stay in Manchester for a reason. There's jobs, there's work, opportunities.
How much of a difference or impact has it had having the BBC moving up there? Have you noticed anything? Are they getting more involved locally, or is it just?
I'm not sure if they're getting involved. No, I'm not sure if they're getting involved locally.
They're trying.
I think they're taking baby steps.
I think the thing with the BBC, we did a project BBC Outreach last year, and they said, their words, not mine, the further north you go, the less interested people are in the BBC. So, which is their perception, because it's they've got the Casualties based in London. It's Londonish, it's closer to London than Manchester. What's the other one? EastEnders and all. It's very kind of, the police shows was always around the Met, so that they don't do a lot of programming that isn't South or London facing. So moving up here, that they're really trying to do through the BBC Outreach and the Performing Arts Funds and things like that. They're really trying to get into the communities, but they're very aware that it is very kind of South-centric at the minute, because they were, weren't they? So.
I think Media City in a whole, everything that's going on in Media City, there's a lot of other TV production companies, a lot of digital companies. I personally, I think it's been fantastic them coming up here. I think it's been great for Manchester and Salford.
Yeah, I think it's great in general for the north of England. Obviously, I'm Newcastle, but I think even we over here in the northeast will benefit or are benefiting already from just that slight shift in mindset that things are happening in the north of England, and it's not all in London, even though London is obviously very important to the economy. There is a danger that just because there are so many people there, everyone just assumes that you have to put all your effort into that large area, rather than realizing that there are several large conurbations and huge populations of people further north. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what's next for Hub UK? What are you working on at the minute, or what are you keen to get up and running in the next few weeks and months?
I think that the main project at the moment is My Big Social Idea, which we're currently working on at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, even got my book.
He's even got all his notes there. So yeah, that's something that we want to get off in the ground ASAP. We're just looking at how we can make that happen.
Yeah, needs a bit of structure, and then it's just how we finance it, really. So we'll put in a funding cocktail together, for want of a better phrase. So sponsorship opportunities from private sector, maybe a couple of grants, and then it's this elements of paid for or traded to make it work, especially around supporting social enterprises and social action projects and things like that.
Okay, so if people want to find out more and get involved, how do they do that? Go to your website?
Well, we've got the 4Hub website. We're just working on the My Big Social Idea, because this is literally how quick we work. This was something that was an idea that came into my head last Tuesday, and we worked with it dead quick.
The quickest way, really, if you go to Twitter, again, at My Social Big Idea.
My Big Social Idea.
That's the one.
At My Big Social Idea.
We're building that Twitter feed at the moment, so there'll be things on there before the website. So.
Okay. Right. Well, I'll get following, and I'll obviously help promote through this video and our blog and our social media channels as well. And
very kind.
And if there's anything else I can do to help promote, then I will. Just ask. Just wanted to mention. I just wanted to mention again, Naomi, that blog that you wrote for us about being thankful is still one of our most popular blogs on the Sage One site.
You know what? I keep tweeting it, and people retweet it, because do you know what? I'm really thankful to so many people, but also I help a lot of people, so I think everybody should be thankful. You know, I'm sure that you help a lot of people as well. So it was something that I really, really enjoyed writing, and I'm waiting for you to ask me to write another one.
Well, any time, honestly, don't wait to be asked. Just any time you have an idea.
Well, maybe we can write one about My Big Social Idea.
Yeah, let's do that. Definitely.
Right, we'll do that. I'll send it to you on Monday.
Social media in action. We've had an idea. Let's do it, and we'll get it up on the site next week. Yeah. Great, fantastic. Well, it's been really good fun speaking to you both today, and really appreciate you taking part. So thanks again, and yeah, good luck with everything, and keep in touch, and look forward to getting your blog.
Pleasure.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. See you.
Will do. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye.